Hi, I'm Diane Arnold, and this is my husband Neal. And we're here today to talk with you a little bit about our book, Take Heart, Restoring Your Identity and Inheritance. It's about how God redeemed our marriage and how our family is being used to help heal broken families throughout many situations. Isaiah 61:3 promises us beauty for ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning. My beauty is clearly seen as this testimony. You see, out of the damage and destruction of our marriage, the Lord allowed me to become a licensed counselor to help give others hope and restoration for their lives. One of the greatest hurdles that I personally overcame in this process was becoming vulnerable. Vulnerable with both my fear and shame. Fear that I wasn't loved by my husband, or maybe even God, and shame that others would find out how actually broken I really was. But during this amazing journey, I realized that the presence of the Lord and the unconditional love of our Father carries the power to restore us into a place of safety and security. Brene Brown, in her research, tells us that shame, put in a petri dish with unconditional love, that shame cannot survive. Our book releases a blend of both psychology and theology to help families work through both the emotional and the spiritual wounds of brokenness. You see, brokenness breeds more brokenness. But as I personally walk through my journey, I discovered that the security and healthy relationships are the ones that carry power and the fruit to help others become healed and whole.
This book not only shares our testimony, but helped us to outline for others that the really good news, first of all, is that because of Christ, failure is not your final chapter. Most of us have created a mess or two in our lives. Yours might not have been as big as mine or as painful. But the good news is that Christ came to use all the things of our life. We need a living, breathing relationship with our Redeemer. Our heart on its own does not function the way we think it does. I found out my own goodness was not very good. But secondly, God did not just send his Son to redeem us. He called us to reign with him, even in our brokenness. You see, most of us believe that when we get our act together, God will be able to use us. In my case, I never dreamed I'd write a book, much less about my biggest failure. But God kept asking me, do you trust me? Will you let your failure be used for God because he is able? You see, he can use even our junk. The devil wants you to believe that your brokenness is going to lead to bondage. But he didn't even pay a price for your life. God did. And he came to set you free. But more than freedom, he called us to an inheritance. What does your inheritance look like? Have you stopped and thought about it? You are called to live in close connection with Christ. In fact, the Bible teaches us we're to be joined with him. I'm not sure I can wrap my head around that, but he is a covenant-making God. He gives us access to all that he has. He wants to show you that. He wants to show you how his kingdom works here on earth. I promise you, it's beyond what you can ask or think. It's been in our life and in our family. God bless.
Thank you.